more women, you know, speaking out about this, because before, like, a lot of women are made to feel like as if we're not allowed to have standards when it comes to men. Yeah, and I do believe that women, especially beautiful women, should not date ugly women. They should not procreate with ugly men. Beautiful women should not procreate with ugly men. Cuz what does that do? When you have beautiful women that procreate with good-looking men, more than likely their children are also going to be beautiful. No, I'm not saying that's always the case that they're going to pop out good-looking kids cuz they're good-looking, but 8 times out of 10 you're going to have good-looking kids when you procreate with good-looking women. When you procreate with bad-looking men, you're going to it's going to affect, your gene pool. You know what I'm saying? And there's too many. It is the reason why there is too many ugly people in the world. You know what I'm saying? A lot of men need to be fucking humbled. You got a lot of ugly motherfucking men that really think that they top notch shit because some beautiful woman gave his ass the time of day. Just because you are with a beautiful woman does not make you good looking. You're still ugly. It doesn't change the fact that you're ugly. A lot of ugly men think that they're good looking because they was able to get a beautiful woman, which they should have never had access to. You know what I'm saying? I don't like when I see beautiful women with ugly men, because now your child is going to be ugly.
So typically, men don't rate themselves higher because they're with a beautiful woman. They know they pulled, they know they got lucky, or they know they have the resources or the other things that she likes in order to be there. Women are very, very vocal about I only deal with medium ugly men, or I want to be the attractive one in the relationship. But we also see how they get when they find a man attractive. What the larger issue here is we've gotten to a place where people are so comfortable with hating men, with misandry, with talking like this without having any type of self-awareness and saying maybe this isn't something I should be championing. Because the more you talk about certain things and the more topics you talk about, especially inflammatory things, people are going to turn that same eye towards you and say, well, the call is coming from inside the room. Well, why do you feel comfortable talking to men like this? Listen, before we continue, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss new uploads. Still going strong, still trying to do 2 a day, still trying to pay that rent. Just got off the phone with my best friend, and yeah, his notification bells, it turns off, but you get some notifications, but not all notifications. But again, just check it. You'll see it for yourself. So to continue, and she's got more to say about this, but we will let it play out in a bit. What the one of the main points about this is again how sort of misandry is accepted online and it just becomes what is supposed to be the thing. Talking about men and their looks, like why they're ugly men. Well, I think when you look at how we actually look at beauty, you'd find the same sort of deviation between both sexes. We just highlight women's beauty. We say this is beautiful. If you try to compare a man's beauty to a woman's beauty, or the effects of the beauty industry being largely a thing for women versus men, you'll see there's a lot of discrepancy, and that's a normal thing. Secondly, gender wise, the female of the species is usually more attractive. That's nature. Men, we've really been bred and evolved more to move things, to do physical sort of labor. If we prioritize beauty, yeah, we could do the same thing, especially with the advent of science and skincare. Yeah, men can go on the knife, men can apply makeup, but we did not prioritize that. Lastly, if that is the new thing being prioritized, you're going to have to give it a couple generations before men catch up and say, okay, we'll do this thing. But by and large, men understand the playing field because when women don't necessarily value pretty the same way or handsome the same way that men have valued the opposite thing, we don't prioritize that. You can be handsome, you could be very attractive, but then you don't have any type of security. You don't have any stability. You have no type of ambition. You're just a nice face to look at. We have plenty of examples of that. And those don't get chosen in large amounts outside of just something to do, something to have fun with. But when you're looking towards the future, when you're looking towards the possibility of marriage, kids, and a foundation, you know you have to look for other things. If you want the entire package, there's nothing wrong with that. I want to make sure that is being completely said. There's nothing wrong with you wanting the entire package. Yet, time and time again, we never take the time to say and look at what package are do you want these men to sort of buy into. If you don't look conventionally how people judge that, or even unconventionally how people judge that, the way we read this, the way we look at this, the way we internalize this, the minute you start saying stuff like that, we're just like, you don't have a mirror. You don't have a mirror. We look and say, you have the audacity to speak like this, because when men do the same thing, when unattractive men are calling out women for their looks, we say the same thing. You guys tear 'em a new one from, up and down. Even recently with the rash of the guy that's homeless talking about, doesn't he deserve all these things? He's good loving, all this, the home cooked meal, the waking up to sex. Women to tear him up and down in the comments because you want something, but you don't have the reciprocal. This is normal sort of human sort of behavior. When you want to call out people and say that men are unattractive and you yourself are unattractive, at least lead with that and say, I'm the product of pretty women because here's my mom, here's what my dad looks like. I look like my dad. You guys didn't have to do this to me. Something like that would be more humorous and easier to sort of digest, rather than you coming across kind of tone deaf, like, yeah, I just don't care about men. And again, men get used to this, and men are just have to understand that you have to be used to this, from people that are unattractive to the most attractive. This is just now what is normal.
Now your child looks like your father, not your father. Now your child looks like their father, which is an ugly man. And a lot of ugly men have ugly personalities. And that's another thing, because I don't really see good looking men with ugly personalities. A lot of good looking men are very humble, are very nice people. It's the ugly motherfuckers that got bad personalities, that got mental health issues. You know what I'm saying?
So again, I'm using this to highlight the other points, but a lot of this is just kind of, you're all over the place with this. Personalities and looks, there's maybe a correlation because of how we treat people in society, and people tend to treat prettier people, they have an easier time of certain things. Pretty privilege exists. That doesn't necessarily mean you're going to have a bad personality. It certainly doesn't mean that if you're ugly you're also going to have mental health issues. Again, when this, and I'm using this, and I'm using this video because sometimes I think you just need to call out bad behavior, bad commentary when you see it at face value. Outside the thought that this is just completely a troll account, right? We just take this as face value, as what she's saying is actually true. You have to be able to look and say, you're either speaking from a place of hurt, you don't know what you're talking about. And this is kind of one of the bigger problems with social media today. You can say whatever you want, whenever you want to say it, in whichever way you want to say it. And the rest of us are kind of just subject to it. But when you see people that are challenged visually, calling out other people for that, it just rings hollow. And it's one of those things that just makes you kind of just want to, like, this is why the internet is so sometimes a very bad place. We'll leave it at that. But look, if you got something to add, you think I missed something, let me know down in the comments. If you see videos on your screen right now, take a look at those. Let me know your thoughts about those in those videos, of course. And of course, if you are listening to sound my voice now, you made it to the end of the video, you have not subscribed. Come on now. Just join the train. We're just trying to pay this rent. I'll see you in the next one.